welcome to my channel, Joyce's Affordable Glam Life 360, or just Joyce. Welcome back if you are returning. If you're new here, welcome. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I do unboxings, I do makeup tutorials, makeup hauls, vlogs, and I'm starting a new Get Ready With Me here about Unsolved Mysteries. So this is my very first Unsolved Mystery Get Ready With Me, and it is about the Saddle Ridge Gold Hoard mystery. So if you would like to know what this mystery is about, keep on watching. Okay, so this is a new Get Ready With Me kind of theme, Unsolved Mysteries, and I have done my research on a couple of unsolved mysteries that I found very interesting. So let's just get into it. If I don't mention anything that I'm wearing on my face, I will put everything that I am using in the description box below. All right, so this is called The Mystery of the Saddle Ridge Hoard. So this is one of the biggest buried treasures found in US history, which is really, really exciting that I found this as my first unsolved mystery. So I'll tell you the story, and then we'll get into basically, we'll get into the theories of what they think happened, or yeah, what happened basically. And some of these mysteries that I found, they haven't solved them. Well, most of them, the ones that I'm gonna do, they haven't solved them. I may do some that have been solved, but for right now, I'm kind of intrigued by the ones that are not solved. So anyway, let's get started. So in the month of February in the year 2013, there was a couple walking in the morning. They were walking their dog, and it was on their property. And when one of them noticed something peeking out on the side of the trail that they were on, and it was still on their property. The woman, whose name is Mary, spotted an old tin can kind of peeking out from the ground. And she was, as anybody would be, intrigued. I would be. I know I would be. I'd be like, what is that? And would want to find out. I don't think I could walk away without knowing, just because that's how curious I am. So Mary and her husband John, curious, so they very carefully took it out from the ground so that they didn't ruin it. So it was a tin, basically tin can. So after they took the first can out, they decided to go back to the site to dig up the land to see if there were any other cans or anything else buried on their property. And they unearthed 8 cans in total that were buried throughout their land. And I think I forgot to tell you where this took place. It took place it's in California, that this took place. So yeah, so that I'm sure they didn't know what they had. I'm sure, I mean, they knew they were coins and they were gold, but I'm sure they didn't know what exactly they had. So they found out that these coins were minted between 1847 to 1894. So yeah, pretty old, right? But the thing that was really intriguing about it was that the coins were in good condition. They had no idea that, I mean, they weren't in any bad condition, like they've never been used. They found the coins. They found out that the worth of these coins were $10 million. That's a lot. That's like, hello, $10 million? I'd be flabbergasted. I mean, wow. Thank you, right? But would they belong to them? I don't know. Why these coins became the largest discovery of lost treasure in US history. How on earth did these coins get there? I am just priming my lids for shadow. So really no one can figure out how they got there. And that is how the treasure became known as the Saddle Ridge Hoard, because I think that's well, it is the name of the area. Now, they believe that the coins were probably buried on the property sometime in the late 19th century. I also want to let you guys know that I do have notes in front of me because it's a lot to remember. So I know the story, but to remember the details, I kind of put notes down just so I didn't forget anything. So let's go back. So they believe that the coins were probably buried on the property sometime in the late 19th century. And most of the coins are $20 gold pieces. And a lot of them are known as double eagles. And then they found that there were some coins that were minted in Georgia. So how did coins from Georgia get to San Francisco? That's a question. And many of the coins are in, like I said, pristine condition. So because of this, it's believed they were never entered into common circulation. That's the word I was looking for, common circulation. So they were made and they were never put out to the public, which is also kind of curious. Like, okay, so they were never put in circulation, but somebody buried them. So that kind of interesting info. So, and here is the other question. Why would someone bury a fortune in coins on their property and never come back to claim it? So that's where the mystery comes in. Like, who did it? Why did they do it? Kind of information, right? So I found a few theories. There might be more, but these are the ones that I found, and these are the ones that were really the most popular theories that I could find out there. So the first one, the first theory is that they believe the coins came from a 1901 bank heist in San Francisco. And that one was kind of, it was from an employee. So the employee's name was Walter Dimmick, was his name. And he decided to rob the place he was employed in. I don't think there was I couldn't find information why he decided to do that. I mean, I assume it's, he wanted money, right? I would assume that's why anyway. I will tell you, telling these stories, okay, so this is my first story doing this, so if it's a little, that's why. I'm sure the more I do it, the better I'll get with it. But it is hard to tell a story and put makeup on at the same time. So I am sure I will get better at it as time goes on. I hope anyway, right? We'll see. Okay. So he walked out of this bank with $30,000 worth of gold coins, which kind of puts the value of the money, the $28,000 of the coins on the property that were found, right? So you kind of think, oh, same amount of value, they think about the same time. Well, this would make sense that this was the heist or the bank robbery. This is where the money came from. But the US government has said no, that this theory has been debunked. No, the government says no, this did not happen. The US Treasury says the coins found in the hoard, it doesn't match what you would expect to see from the specific bank robbery of that time. So the treasure now is not, because of this, because the US Treasury has debunked it, it's not from a robbery from them, blah, blah, blah. It's not the property of the US government. So whoever found it, which was Mary and John, this couple, it's rightfully theirs because they discovered it and it was on their property. I am drinking some water because talking a lot makes me thirsty. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. Now, here's another theory. I know, I gotta keep putting makeup on and talk about this unsolved mystery, right? Hey, yay. So here is another theory. I'm just gonna say really quick, this is the palette I'm using for my eyes today. This is by BH Cosmetics. This is Beautiful in Barcelona. And this is so pretty, isn't it? I love this. The packaging is really pretty. Okay. So let's get back to it. So here's another theory that has come up. People say that it might be the life savings of a miner who came to the area to get rich during the gold rush. But this one is where people don't really find it very realistic, because by the time the coins were buried, the gold rush was just about over. So people don't believe that that's what happened, because if it was just about over, why would that happen, basically? So that one has been also not likely. So then a third theory, here's a third theory. It might just be the coins of someone who was wealthy. I read that they said, well, it might be a little crazy or eccentric. And they lived on the property. Yeah. I mean, you're talking how long ago, right? So that's feasible. Somebody else owned the land, of course. And if they really didn't trust banks, which back in that time period, a lot of people didn't trust banks. A lot of people thought that the banks would steal their money. So what did they do? They would bury it or put it under their bed mattress or whatever. They would hide it because of that reason. So that was a common thing that people did. So that's not too unrealistic. And so they decided, because they didn't trust banks, they were going to bury it on their land. And if they had enough land, which it appears that they did, that would be the perfect place to hide their money. And you would think, well, why is it still there then? If this person buried it, wouldn't they have told somebody? Well, the theory is they didn't live long enough to tell anybody. So they died and the buried treasure was left there because nobody knew it was there except this person. So that theory to me sounds very feasible and very likely, I think, in my opinion. But again, I don't know. You know, it could be some sort of cool. One last theory that I found was that people say it was outlaws that hid the treasure. Which, I mean, I guess that during that time that would make sense, because there was, you know, robberies going on a lot, like with Jesse James, they say. And so they stole the cachet of gold. Jesse James and Black Bart, I guess, was a popular robber of the day. Jesse James, I think most people know of, because I mean, I've heard of Jesse James and all that. So that, you know, possible, right? So, and Black Bart, they were then they were very well-known highwaymen. I don't remember reading that much about Black Bart. I just remember Jesse James mostly. And so anyway, that's one of the theories. Because they would steal from the wealthy, and then they both, you know, that was their career, of stealing from the wealthy. So, you know, did they bury that? Possibly, but there's really no connection with the specific robbery to them. So that is another theory that is kind of been debunked as well. It's just not realistic because of that. So nobody really thinks that that happened. Although I would say, I mean, if I was telling the story, I would love to like say, oh, it was these robbers, Jesse James, and he buried the treasure and now it's mine. Like, I would love to tell that kind of a story, but it's not true. So it wouldn't be right. But in the end, the coins and the identity of the couple, so we only know them as Mary and John, they have been secret. Nobody wants to, they don't want to say where it's at, the coins, and where the people are, because they don't want to be basically bombarded with questions and you know, they don't want to be bothered, basically, which I can understand that. You don't want people coming around knowing that you have all this money and you know, looking basically to get rich either. So they want to keep everything private, which I guess I would do the same thing too. I wouldn't want people to know all that much about what happened. So anyway, this, I'd like to know what people's thoughts are about this unsolved mystery and what you guys, you know, comment below and let me know what your theory is of where these coins came from. Because like I said, this is one of the largest unsolved mysteries in US history. And it obviously didn't come from a robbery or anything like that. So you wonder, well, what happened? So my question is, what do you guys think happened, or who buried the treasure in San Francisco on this property? And my other question would be, if you found all this money, coins, what would you do with it? Personally, what would I do with it? Well, I'd pay off debt. That would be the first thing I would do. I would find a nice, comfortable property to live on with my family. Found this whole story about this money intriguing because of the fact that, yeah, I mean, how many of us wish that how many of us wish that we found as I was saying, how many of us would wish that we found money somewhere and that it didn't belong to anybody and that we could keep the money and do with it as what we wished? I know that, I mean, I'm honest, of course I would. Of course I would want to find money and be able to use it for things that I would want. So that, you know, that's what I would do. And I would give it away if you know, once I had enough of what I need to live on. Of course, wouldn't it be nice to be able to give it to people who really need it? Yes, of course. So anyway, this was my first Get Ready With Me Unsolved Mysteries video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up. It helps me out. Again, please comment below what you think of this, or what your theory is of what happened to this, who buried this treasure that this couple now has to use. And like I said, I don't know who they are. I only know their name as Mary and John, and anonymous, and we don't know who they are and where the money is now. So anyway, please comment below and let me know what you think happened. What would you do with the money if you found it on your land? And yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. It helps me out. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, will you please consider subscribing? And if you already are subscribed to my channel, I thank you for your love and support, and I will see you in the next one.